So it seems we've gone live, and hello, everybody. Welcome. And this will be our third episode on YouTube and our second episode on Instagram for this styling live stream. So the title of this live stream is called In Style, in Love, and in Power. And it's hosted by me. My name is Adele. And I'm Hong Kong's voted number one best personal stylist of this year. And I will be your host. And aren't you absolutely excited to be here and meeting with me? Yes, the best ever style advisor you can ever get here in live. Yeah, I'm based in Hong Kong, and so welcome everybody who is not from Hong Kong and who's joined us live here. Welcome, welcome, and I would love to know where you guys are from. So if you can just leave me a line on the chat box where you're from. Just want to say hi from Hong Kong. Yeah, really amazing. So this session this morning, the title of our live actually is really, really amazing. It is a topic that I hold very dear at heart and I love. And I'm sure it will also support many, many, many of you. And the topic is how to dress unapologetically. I think this is a very pertinent topic for a lot of people. And for those who love to get dressed and love to get dressed in style, love to style themselves and, dress in a way which honors themselves, sometimes they may still run into this situation of like feeling, like a little bit apologetic when they dress themselves. So that's why I am talking about this today. So I've just had a couple of people leave me some messages. So great. I have somebody from Seattle. Amazing. I've never been there, but I have friends and people I know live there. Somebody from California, welcome. And from Brisbane, and super adoration coming that way as well. So thank you. Oh yeah, is it too much? Yes, that's a great question. A lot of people often, when they get dressed and when they dress themselves, they will have this voice, in their head when they look into the mirror. Oh my gosh, like, did I dress too much? Am I too much? Do I have to tone it down a little bit? I think these are all very, very valid questions and scenarios. Yeah, beautiful. All right, so anybody else? Anybody from Hong Kong? Oh, it started to shake again. I don't know why. Can anybody tell me how to stop that? Let's see. No. Anybody have any idea for Instagram? It's shaking my background. Even though, yes, maybe it is. Yeah, you're correct. Thank you very much. Okay, so how to dress unapologetically. Okay, I feel this first starts with a question of, I would ask you, are you backing yourself? How much are you backing yourself? I feel if you want to dress unapologetically, the first step is to forevermore back yourself all the time. And this, after a while, it becomes your substance. it becomes like, this is how I am, this is who I am, no matter what. How you are and how you move and how you express yourself has nothing to do with how everybody else is. It has nothing to do with how everybody else thinks of you. So it is like you are walking from a rhythm and a feeling from inside of yourself rather than outside. So it's always a lose for us if we walk and express and move ourselves with how we feel and sense from the outside. For example, yes, even though I work in the fashion industry, I have to look at a lot of trends, so called. But if I based my wardrobe and if I based how I wear whatever everyday my clothing based on what I learn from the trends or what I learn or hear from other people or experts, even, I'm at a loss. So I never ever based my everyday dressing up on the things I learn in my industry or in my career. Of course, yes, I have to learn those things. It's part of my job. But I never, ever listen to that in priority to what I feel inside of me. Yes, it is sometimes very, very exciting to look at what is the trend right now. What are those things that celebrities are wearing? What are those things that K-pop stars are wearing? And when you look at them, when you see them, say, for example, on social media or on YouTube, on Instagram, on every single platform you go to on the music videos, you might have a sense of, wow, I love that. Wow, that's really cool. But that's great. Leave it as that. If you like, you can buy a couple of pieces, reflecting on that interest. But however, every single day when you get dressed, it is something that still comes from your inside. Okay, up to this point, can somebody tell me if they are getting what I'm saying, or if it's too complicated, or if you don't understand what it means by inside, outside, all of that? Please let me know. Okay, so if no questions, then I will continue. So, what does it mean to first honor the feeling, or I can call it an impulse within myself? It actually goes back to the first two episodes I've shared with you guys. And if you haven't seen it or weren't here last 2 weeks, you can always go back either to my Instagram or to YouTube to look at the past episodes, because everything is related. Everything, every single time presented goes back to the first time. Everything is all just one thing. And that is, first of all, we need to know who we are. We need to find out and discover our qualities from inside. And we have to hold those qualities very, very strongly and solidly. It doesn't matter if nobody else have these qualities. And I know sometimes it's hard, if you feel that, oh my gosh, I have this, I am like absolutely this, but nobody else is like that. So is something wrong with me? Or how can I actually relate to people if everybody else doesn't seem like how I am? Okay, these are all very valid questions again. But the thing is, that is actually the beauty of you being in the world. And that is to hold the qualities that you know of yourself so strongly, no matter who or what respond or reciprocate or are the same or not. And can't we see that that is exactly the basis of unapologeticness? right? So, yeah, Morgan, I'm like loving your comments there. Absolutely. It is like we have to feel it first before it can come out, definitely. But the thing is, if we feel it, sometimes it can still stay inside for a long time. So, therefore, feeling it and expressing it together at the same time in synchronicity, that is the point. That is the amazingness. Yeah, absolutely. So, going back, how to dress unapologetically is first of all, we need to know what our qualities are. And second of all, we have to back ourselves no matter what. No matter what. I want to share some experiences of like hearing clients and friends share with me their very, very common incidences of, for example, they love what they're dressed, that day. They've like opened the closet and selected with care what they're dressing, and then they walk out the street and they receive a comment from somebody, and the comment would be, "Oh my gosh, like you look really old wearing this," or "This doesn't suit you. This color looks a bit blah on you," etc., etc. And they would feel so crushed that moment, and they would need to run home to change their clothes, or just feel really off for the whole day. And to be honest with you, I've felt the same, but not so much from other people's comments of me. But say if I've worn something and I went out, that day. And when I'm going out, I might hear voices in my head telling me that, "Oh my gosh, like you can't wear this today. Like it's not appropriate," or whatever. And then I might need to go and buy a new piece of clothing, for example. So I've had those experiences myself as well. It's like voices, whether it's inside your head or outside, telling you, "No, you can't wear that," or "It looks off." And those are exactly the moments when we can exercise what I'm sharing with you today, and you can practice it. Because the practice is the experience that is important, that we must have. If you have these experiences, don't run away, don't fret, don't worry, don't be sad, don't be disappointed, don't be surprised, don't be shocked, but say, "Yes, okay, great. I'm going to live what I've learned in this live stream with Adele today." And that is at that moment, I'm going to back myself up. I'm going to back myself up saying, "Okay, today, this is what I felt inside of me, and it is exactly what I want to wear. And I will wear that no matter what other people say." Yeah? So that is the importance of this live stream. And it is, with no apology, express and walk yourself from deep within yourself. It is not from walking what other people are telling you, not walking from what the TVs and what the internet is telling you, not walking what the celebrities or even Adele is telling you, but walking you yourself deep from inside of you. And that is an apology. And an apology is very, very important, this quality in our everyday world, because every day we are met with and we live with and we tolerate and accommodate so much crap and abuse everywhere in the world. Even just a slight comment from somebody saying, "Oh, are you tired today? Or have you gained a little bit of weight?" Those so-called seemingly caring comments, sometimes they come with abuse, sometimes they come with jealousy, sometimes they come with comparison, sometimes it comes with like putting you down. All of these things are so accepted and slighted and tolerated in our everyday lives that actually is not okay. So being unapologetic is like saying no to all of these things. Whenever anybody tries to come in with a comment saying, you're not magnificent, you're not amazing, you're not gorgeous, you're not absolutely full of amazeballs, then tell them no. Tell them no, because your body actually will feel and sense the no. And that is the no that has to be expressed. That no is not to be swallowed and then indulged in withdrawal or despair or blame or disappointment in people and the whole world. That feeling is to be expressed, meaning no. In my movements or in my words, whatever, but in your movements, in the way you dress, in the way you carry yourself, in the way you hold yourself, and it is no. No to any slightest abuse that comes our way. Yes. So thank you. Yes, I know I'm gorgeous. I know I'm very sexy, and that is one of the reasons why I am, is because I'm unapologetic of how I am and I dress that way. Just to share a little bit also of statistics, so to say, and that is, for example, on Instagram, about a year ago, I had about 900 followers. And in the last 5 months, I have started to express myself, the unapology from within me, only the last 5 months. And what does that mean is, for example, I've always had a fullness, always had this sassy sexiness within me, but I've always never expressed it in full due to so many reasons. The voices in my head, the voices around me, the voices from my family, the voices from my partner, the voices from my spouse, from my children, a lot of people, voices from the age I am, the voices from the workplace I work from, etc., etc., etc. But I decided, no, no, I'm not going to listen to that anymore. And I simply dressed myself as how I feel from the depth of my inside. I dressed this way not because I need a confirmation or any compliment from anybody. It was simply an exploration of not tuning it down or diluting the feeling I have of myself. No, no way. So if I do not dilute myself and I dress that way and I express that way and I shared it, what would the result be? And the result was, in about 4 or 5 months' time, in this experience, the followers have jumped from 900 to about 8,000 now. Simply of the way I've changed how I expressed myself through what I dress, how I wear my clothes, because that's obviously, my job, and that's obviously the place where I would experiment the most natural. So that is only a personal sharing to illustrate how, when we change the way we express in our everyday livingness, it changes a lot of things. Although the number of followers is not a huge deal, the number of followers is not, you know, the end of the world, or it doesn't, it doesn't suddenly, change my whole life. No, but it gives me the statistics, and it gives me the evidence and the proof of how our lives can be if we change ourselves. Oh, and there's also one thing about dressing unapologetically, and that is when we express ourselves with no apology. Why is it so hard? A lot of people feel, no, I can't do that. No, I'd be too embarrassed. No, I would rather just hide behind the radar and all of that. That's true, because if we do not want to be in the fullness of ourselves, we can hide. We can hide behind, for example, an Instagram account with a fake name. We can hide in the comments of that we leave on internet or on social media. We can hide ourselves, and we can basically be irresponsible of our behaviors because thinking nobody would know who we are. But if we express ourselves unapologetically, we're out in the open. We're absolutely out in the open, and people know who we are. People know how we are. People know how we look like. People know how we dress. And we cannot hide. We cannot hide from anyone or anywhere. And that is why it's difficult sometimes to dress unapologetically or to just be unapologetic. Yeah, this word is hard to say sometimes. So, unapologeticness also comes from not hiding ourselves. So, if there's any sliver of wanting to hide yourself, we may shut down or not honor or respect the impulse of how we are inside. And that's absolutely okay as well. Exactly, Morgan. I agree with you. We can't hide. But far too many of us try to. Far too many of us try to hide. And I've tried that for many, 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 many years. Yeah. Until when I stopped doing that, all I can say to myself is, why didn't I do this quicker, sooner, earlier? Because I would save myself a lot of struggle, a lot of drama, a lot of trauma, a lot of unnecessary stupidities in life. Yep. Great. So I've talked a lot. Any questions? Because this is meant to be interactive. It's beautiful. Yeah, Morgan, I agree. And there's no too late, or, not early enough. Yeah, time doesn't matter. And whenever that moment we decide not to, and we don't, that is the most important. And that changes everything in our lives. So, everybody who's here, who's present today, and who's been listening to this live stream, tell me, are you still a hider, or are you still, or have you come out, from your hiding or from your closet, so to speak, not coming out because of your sexual orientation, but coming out from the truth and the fullness of who you are. Yeah, that could include your gender, of course. Okay, great question. Morgan asked, how would you go about giving yourself permission to be unapologetic? To be honest, it is when I stopped needing to insist myself to be a certain way. It naturally happened. I did not try to be unapologetic, to be honest. I did not try to not hold back myself. I did not try to express myself in a certain way. I didn't do any of those things. It was only to see that a lot of the things I insisted of becoming, I've insisted on being myself, such as that I have to be very courteous, very nice, very good, very caring, into a way that I have to put everybody else above me or in front of me. When I stopped needing to be those things, the reason being I saw the untruth of it all, then simply I just had that space to explore all the rest, the fullness of myself. So if that makes sense. So it wasn't that I intentionally tried to be unapologetic. It was that I simply did not need to be all the lies that I was convinced I was in the past. So I don't know if any of you have ideas or beliefs about who you are. one example for myself is I used to always feel that I have to be caring above anybody else. I would be the person there, um, taking it all on, burdening myself, and then caring for everybody around me. They're always never as quick, never as capable. So I'm just going to go do things for them, or I'm going to live their lives for them. And that was kind of like a savior kind of uh, uh, stereotype. And I lived that for many, many years until one day I'm like, no, that is actually your life. That is actually your responsibility to take, not mine. And I just stopped the sympathy. I stopped being nice. I stopped needing to carry everybody else and left it back to them. And from that point on, I simply had a lot of space, and I had a lot of space to express all of myself, all of those parts of myself that I've held back in the past because I put the priority on other people. So that was the simplicity of it, if that makes sense. So any more questions? I love those questions, and keep them coming if there are any, because they're very, very valid questions, and I'm sure it would support a lot of people listening. So today's live, I'll recap one more time, is about how to dress unapologetically. And that is a science that every one of us in the world needs, because we all run into situations where we feel that the outside pressure or the voices inside our heads simply crush us. It crushes us to tell us, don't you dare to dress what you feel. Don't you dare to dress and express the fullness of yourself unapologetically. Don't you dare to be too much. You are always too much. No, there's never too much. So those are the voices I'm talking about. Those are the voices that come to try to corrupt the purity of our fullness and of our unapology. So whenever we hear those voices, how do we stay solid and stay strong in ourselves? And first, number one, is to back ourselves up. Back ourselves no matter what. So how you've decided to dress that way, there's no right or wrong, dear precious ones. Never in how we dress is there right or wrong. There's only judgment from others or from yourself. That's all. There's no right or wrong to how we dress. But there's always judgment and criticism and put downs within our heads as well as on the outside. So whenever you hear those things, just say, no. Just say, I'm not listening to you. Because those things do not come from our soul. They do not come to actually confirm us. They're not loving thoughts or voices. If they're not loving, why listen? Why listen? Not listening is backing yourself unconditionally. It is backing yourself unapologetically. It is therefore living and walking your life unapologetically. And it would simply, naturally, to a point, start to express in your everyday life, in your words, in your writing, in the way you dress, in the way you relate to people and communicate. So it is as simple as that. Okay, another great question from Morgan. I love your questions. I'm loving everything you bringing to here, and to everybody else who are here as well. Even though you may not have questions, you may be listening, you may be, being inspired. And Morgan is asking, how would you support yourself to back yourself completely? I feel it has taken me, some experiments, and I feel experiments are grand opportunities in your daily life. Do not expect to get this right away the first time you try it. Allow yourself to experiment, meaning if you want something today and you go out and you have this opportunity to back yourself. So, first of all, do it. Okay, if you back yourself that moment and you feel, oh gosh, I am feeling so uncomfortable. I'm feeling so uncomfortable. I just feel I need to break. I need to run home, change, or I just need to put a hoodie on and then just cover myself and go back to the hiding. And that's no problem if you do that. Nobody's gonna, your soul especially, is not gonna condemn you. Is not gonna say, no, wrong, you failed. That would not be the voice from the soul. So allow yourself to go through that. But then for the next time, that would be the more important, situation. So how can you prepare yourself so that the next time when you are, in the same situation, how would you deal with that situation? And yes, I love what Morgan has shared as well. And I'll share a little bit of my experience. Okay, first of all, is when you feel those voices at that moment, first of all, I agree with Morgan. Sometimes when I hear it from other people, when I see it, coming at me, these comments, or when I feel, even with no words spoken, I feel people looking at me and judging me, the first thing I would do is I would elongate my spine. Same with what Morgan has shared, spine straight. I will elongate my spine and I will open up my chest. So bring back my shoulders, lower my shoulders, and I would walk as majestically and as mightily as possible. So the movement of our body in that moment is super, super important. That is step one, in the moment. But then step two, I will go back to my daily lifestyle. I will go back to every single occasion in my life and see if I also back myself there. For example, if I had a conversation that day with a friend and we have some kind of conflict or disagreement, in those cases, I will observe if I back myself up, and I will. I will use every single opportunity possible. I will maximize all those opportunities to back myself up. So the next time when I wear clothes and I go out and I see people and I feel the judgment and I feel people not backing me, I feel the world crushing on me, I will be much easier to back myself at that moment. Because if I do not do it in all the rest of the aspects and situations in my life, that moment when I feel the crushing, when I get dressed and when I'm out, I may not even be able to elongate my spine. I may not be even able to remember or access that reminder to elongate my spine, if that makes sense. So I hope you answered that question. Perfect. So any more questions? How you can be gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, absolutely full on, and that is not a bad thing, by the way, of yourself when you get dressed. This is the topic of today's live stream. And if you came in and joined late, just go back to the recording later. You will find a lot of gold there, and you can go out there smashing every picture, every comment, every judgment from today on. Practice. No need to have perfection right away. No need to, be striving for a perfect picture of how this looks like. Simply exercise it, try it out, experiment, and maximize all the situations to do so. I'd love to hear your feedback next time. And we will be here again next Monday, 8 a.m. Hong Kong time, on live stream YouTube as well as on Instagram. And if there are no more questions, I look forward to seeing you next time. Yep. I agree with you. Make it fun, make it joyful. Dressing is not about serious. If you feel serious, if you feel it's a chore, if you feel it's heavy, if you feel it's dense when you get dressed, you've done something, you've missed something. If you missed something, come back next time and you will find it. So lovely to have all of you. Great to have everybody here from Hong Kong, from Brisbane, from California, from Seattle. Thank you very much for joining, and see you again next week. Love you and leave you.